All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Thursday, July 28th. Beginning the move of my life from New York to Florida over the next week, beginning the packing process right now. Great to see all of us live inside the Cyber Group room. Great to see all of us back on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube. Great to see John and Nina and Ron with us here. John calling out the BTTX and also the GovX stock. I'd called out GovX off of support off of 213. It was inching up just a moment ago. Hey, the whole market's been pushing up across the day today, so hopefully we see continuation of that. But there could be a bunch of other runners that may look to go. So let's go right from top to bottom here. We do have the phase 3 class finishing up, concluding this afternoon, right at 3:05 Eastern time. So I want to make sure that you folks have enough time to prep and identify your big iceberg levels. Fausto is currently prepping up himself. So with that, let's just go right from top to bottom and see what we could, see what we could add here. Actually, just with what's on the screen here to begin, TBLT may as well start with what's on the screen. Would have went to it anyway, number 7 on the gainers list. But this stock now, at this point, is very wishy-washy, very sideways moving. From earlier, ended up making a big push in pre-market, popped after the open, but it ended up holding support pretty nicely off its opening print, which led to a bounce at first, but it's been teasing us ever since. It was breaking above that level earlier, going into the mid to late morning, going into the early to mid afternoon here. And for those instances, well, it led to a run, led to a small run up, but we wanted more and more, and we just didn't get it. Well, if it keeps failing to break higher, if it keeps making lower highs, this thing could really be due for a big drop here, folks. It's been needling that opening print as support since. So, I'm not as keen to put this on our main list just yet. If it ends up really solidifying over 6 as support, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 5 times over. I don't know what to tell you. So, for me here, I'd rather move on. I'll come back to it at the end, I guess. But let's go from top to bottom now, because I'd rather follow, at least for right now, for the time being, a stock like SkyX here. A little thin in terms of the liquidity, looking at the level 3 there, and a bit of a spread, fluctuating volume across the bid and the ask. But it's at the highs. It's pushing up right now, built support nicely off of 7 and pushing up now to 770. So, I'll definitely put this on our main list here. It's up 70 or it's up 83 plus percent. So the question that you ask is how much higher could the thing keep going? Well, we've seen stocks make 200% moves, 300% moves. That doesn't mean this will. But in terms of just like kind of looking back at another stock that we traded from this week on PGY, the more it goes up, the more you ask that question. When is it going to tank? When is it going to pull back? So, hey, yesterday I didn't have my hands on this whatsoever. Yesterday morning, I was more, Tuesday morning, I was more interested in following it. But the more it went up from there, you begin to speculate, when is it going to tank, make a false breakout, go the other way. So SkyX, hey, I'll put this on our list for now. But if the volume dies off going forward, just be careful. All right, HKD. I saw one of our members call this out in the room earlier. Who the heck is trading this? Honestly, if you ended up making money on this, congratulations. It's like going and winning the Mega Millions at Friday at the end of this week over $1 billion. But the odds of that happening, right? This thing has a huge spread, almost like a completely invisible order book. Nothing really out there whatsoever, and that's how it looked like, at least when it ran up. Isn't it cool to jump in here and get out here? Yeah, but how often are you going to make that move, right? So unless if you got in from early on, the more it goes up, the more you wonder, when is it going to pull back and tank. You just don't want to get stuck, if not at the top, then at least just in consolidation and an ugly, unfortunate shake after. So, this more than anything is just like noise. It's a distraction because we could be, following SkyX, at least an easier, trade in relation. BTTX, we could be following. It's not really moving that much just yet, John. I mean, is it possible? Yeah. And does it hurt us to put this on our list? Well, compared to the other, no, not at all. I mean, this is very tradable in terms of liquidity. It's not too liquid, and it's certainly not too thin. So, I'll come back to this at the end, but It made such a big pop in pre-market. It dumped off after the open. If you've been looking for that bounce since, you have been watching the paint dry, my friend. So for right now, I will just, pass on this one. Again, I'll come back to it if it does make a pop by the end. All right. I may have just kind of skimmed over a few of these here, so I'll just kind of jump to those in a moment. But I saw a run here. One of our students, Johannes, calls out run. It's one of his favorite stocks. I'm sure he did really well on this off of the pop going into the open. But right now, again, same to be said here. It's just really flat for a $30 stock right now. If you do well on that trade personally, day over day, you're definitely going to put that on your personal list. But I'd rather follow something else. TBLT, the tease of the day here. It's actually beginning to make that push up off of 6. 595 was the opening print, so it actually held above it here. We don't have anything actually on the main watch list just yet, aside from SkyX. So I don't mind slipping this on here for right now. If it ends up completely breaking down during the meeting, then I'll just take it off. Simple as that. All right, TXMD ended up making like a nice steady run, at least looking at the chart, but pretty thin volume, very tiny retail volume on this trade. If anything, it's only trading 432,000 shares on the day, or 36. All right, I'd rather look at GovX. Needless to be said, looking at the chart at least, GovX we're going to put on our list right at the top, held right above support, actually just hovered above it here. I was calling it out right as it was beginning to push up and above 213, 214. And with that, let me just show bookmap level 4. I don't mind taking a little time here just to explain why I was calling out 213, 214 as support. Well, from earlier at least, notice that we ended up seeing it break above. I guess this is 210, little iceberg order out there, tiny one. But we ended up seeing these big transactions getting filled from my level 4 here, 213, 214. So if this is going to run, it needs to break back above 213, 214. Hold that as support, namely. Well, it's only been moving up since. So GovX right now, I'll definitely put on our watch list again. One of the monkeypox vaccine related stocks, SIGA. Here we go. Another big push. Congratulations to Chuck Z, one of our members here, one of our students inside the cyber group room. He's been killing it on this stock. I mean, all week, and I mean, easy to say that given the trend that this thing's had this week. But hey, this is where I say if there is a stock over the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks that we've been calling out pretty consistently. Well, it's tradable if we're calling it out. So it's something to at least, at a minimum, keep on your side list. Well, going into this week, we heard more and more talks about the vaccines, monkeypox, this, that. All right, well, listen, I don't care about your opinion on monkeypox because you don't care about my opinion on monkeypox. We care about making money. And if we ended up seeing the COVID stocks, make these huge squeeze up like Moderna, Novavax, Inovio, Vaxert, Codex, all of these tickers, why not think the same could happen on SIGA here? Now, that's easy to say looking at after the fact. I didn't swing trade this. I'm day trading it, at least myself, and Chuck's day trading it, at least for the most part, at least himself. Yeah, right now SIGA is breaking all-time highs. How could we not follow this here for the close? The GovX trade. There's a couple of other monkeypox stocks. You don't want to follow all of them, just the ones that look the best. So like, TNXP. This we traded back from Tuesday this week. I don't know. It doesn't really look that worth watching to me, right? So, I'm going to pass on this. I think there's another one, VRAX. This actually made a nice run earlier today. Look at that. But the order book is so illiquid on this type of trade. I'd rather just follow SIGA and the GovX trade. John says those fills are on the bid. Yes, they are. That's something I would rather elaborate on a lot more in our classes, but I know that. And that's the main reason why I'd called it out. So once it broke above it and solidified it as support, that's what led to that squeeze. So, that is what I was watching at that point. Now on the GovX trade, I would say you have resistance off of 230, at least for right now. 230, 232. All right, let's see what else we got here, folks. We got the plug trade. Just checking in on plug really briefly. Did I click on this just yet? I don't think I did. Ended up making a very choppy move at first, then finally broke out from the consolidation heading into the mid to late morning. But for right now, it's just, it's moving up a tiny amount, don't get me wrong. And it's a lot closer to the highs comparative, at least to the lows. Does it hurt us to put plug on our main list right now? Not really. So I guess I'll put this on our list at the end. I like the SIGA trade more. I like the GovX trade a hell of a lot more. The SkyX more. TBLT will come back to. So far, that's on our list. But all right, we keep it going here. We got the array trade, ARRY. Michael made, I think, like 30, 35 cents on his trade earlier today. It's building up. Like, don't get me wrong, it looks flat, but it is. Oh, actually, no, never mind. I was going to say it looks close to the regular session highs, but I look up top of my chart here. I guess the spike at the open, this counts as regular session at 1717. Yeah, folks, you're telling me that, but aside from just that one flash spike, it's getting really close to resistance. This actually is a pretty appealing setup. So I'll come back to it at the end. It looks all right, though, Array. If you did well on this stock earlier today, I'm sure you're more inclined to follow it for the close. SPWR, not much happening there. Hertz, not much happening there. Bloom, last one here briefly, and then we'll jump over to the loser side. Market has obviously pushed up today, so we're not going to find nearly as much on the loser side. You know what's funny? I should actually retract that right away, because normally when I look on the losers list, I'll normally say, all right, well, there's a bunch of crap that's hard to borrow, can't short it. Look at the losers list. Like, most stocks here are easy to borrow. That's astonishing. So let's go over a few of these briefly. BHC, to begin, I had a pretty crappy morning up until BHC. This I ended up catching at a very fortunate time, as it ended up breaking below big support. And as soon as it did that, it was just a gift. It led to an easy drop off, which, hey, you hope to have happen more often than not, but it doesn't always happen 100% of the time. This was essentially a gift that led me to flip myself not only into the plus, but like with a good cushion. So I was fortunate to have that happen. I actually got out right before it ended up getting re-halted. This thing is actually halted right now off of news pending, not because of volatility. It's been halted since 10:30 in the morning. So I'm not going to put this on our main list right now. Who knows when this is going to reopen up? They may give a resumption time later on today, but I'm not going to hold my breath waiting for that. So we'll see what's out there otherwise. The CYH trade, if this could break under 3, maybe it could be a good short. It's already down 41% from yesterday's close, and it is easy to borrow. You have a major support level off of 290. So if it does break below 3, get like 8 or 10 cents as a short. For a $3 stock, that's actually not bad, but I don't have a great need to put that trade on our watch list right now. Cash, what we're all trying to make right now. Some good old cash. This thing has a thin order book, so I'm not as particular about that right now either. T-Doc, oh man, this I ended up missing a short on T-Doc. I wanted a higher squeeze up compared to what I ended up getting. It ended up holding VWAP perfectly before it ended up snapping down lower. I think that was right over here. I wanted this to squeeze up just a little higher to the opening print, and I was ready to short it. You just don't want to chase it, and you want to take it from your level. So once it ended up actually holding the VWAP and plummeted, I ended up missing my mark, so I had to move on to another trade. But listen, T-Doc right now is just really flat for a $35 stock. I said that before on Run. I said that before on a few trades from the gainers list. All right. Let's see what else we got here. T-Doc, Upwork, Upwork. Hey, this is actually an interesting little short. Look at this. Nice downtrend. Low of the day is roughly off of like 1880, but it's getting close there now. Order book is pretty liquid here. So Upwork as a short doesn't look too bad at all, might I say. Now you would want to see an iceberg represent support here coming up. So 19 you would assume to be a big support level. However, just doing a little old-fashioned tape reading here, just right around 2:37 Eastern time. Well, this 8,600 share print certainly factors in just right above 1917. Interesting. All right. Well, how about this? If this could break back under 1917 right there, perhaps we can get the short closer to 9. So Upwork right now, I don't mind at least slipping on our list as a potential short, just given this recent downtrend. PBI flat. Listen, we're not going to find much from the losers list, really. So I'm not expecting for there to be much else. I don't really see much else. That's all right. All right, folks, if there is anything else, namely on the way up more than 5%, type it in the chat board here. Let me know. Got the GovX trade pulling back right from 230. I think it topped off right there at 231. All right, so what else do we got here, folks? Any stocks that you would want me to look at? John making some nice money on that GovX trade, it looks like. Michael says side list level 1 stock, Ford F. Doing well this week, better swing trade. Yeah, I'd keep it more as a swing trade, but not a bad stock to keep on your side list as a day trade for this afternoon. I think there's better day trades than Ford right now. But around like 3 o'clock, 3:15, when Rich jumps on the mic, if Ford looks stronger at that point and the other stocks on our main list don't look as good, then that's how we prioritize. That's it. All right, folks, let me just check out the two I kind of just tossed on the side list here. Plug. Granted, Plug a little faster moving compared to that Ford, a little bit easier on the eyes to try and follow as a day trade, gaining a little steam here. Doesn't hurt us to put Plug on our main list, right? And then the Array trade, ARRY, same to be said. I know the high of the day is 1717, but that was a really quick flash pop and drop at the open. Aside from that, this is at highs right now as we're talking. So I don't mind putting Array on our main list here too. Let's jump back to TBLT. Did that crash? This is a crash waiting to happen, I feel. If it holds 6, God bless. If it holds the 597 and 6, God bless. But otherwise, if this slams below both of these lines here, this should really tank like 50 plus cents. That's my expectation. So I'll keep it on our list, but this needs to run like right now, right from this very point. No dilly-dallying. It's been doing too much of that at this point. So you don't want to be stuck on the wrong side of this trade, folks. That's all I'm saying. All right. So for all of us on Facebook Live, YouTube, any questions that you got, please send over my way. Josh at c2trading.com is my handle. Any questions, thoughts, comments, suggestions, feel more than free to send it right over to my email right there. All right. But aside from that, for all of us inside the live trading room, John, Michael, Grant, Nina, Andrea. I know that Rich will be on the mic from 3 to 4. I'll be in the chat board here and there, but most of us, any of our gold, platinum, diamond students here at CTU, you folks have access to the Phase 3 class, the Phase 3 stock course lined up, coming up in just about 10 or so minutes. Talk to you all soon. Take care.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9.